It was in mid-1800s that Charles Robert Darwin gave his famous theory of evolution, where he proposed that the present-day man evolved gradually from the lower forms of animals to the present state by a process called natural selection. Now, this was contradictory to the then prevailing concept, which stated that God created different varieties of living beings on this planet and we were to coexist with each other harmoniously. He explained his theory under five main points: competition, adaptation, variation, overproduction, and speciation. Because the resources in nature are limited, initial lower forms of animals competed with each other, struggled, tried to acquire newer traits and skills to survive better. Later, better equipped ones adapted well and got a chance to be selected by nature to survive. That is natural selection. Produced and gradually evolved and changed to a better form, and that is how a new species came into existence. First, how a fish desired to be on the land too, struggled and evolved to be an amphibian, which further acquired a more sustainable heavy scaly body to be a reptile, which further struggled to fly and acquired wings, became birds. Birds then finally evolved to be the present day human. Then why do we still see all those lower forms of life? Why didn't they perish with time? If only the fittest were to survive, why do we still see delicate butterflies, angelfishes, hummingbirds? Nature presents a huge variety of living organisms, isn't it? Furthermore, this remains unexplained why we dropped many essential traits as we evolved. For example, a fish has scales and gills and fins to survive in water. As it evolved further, it dropped those features, reducing its chances to stay in water. More interestingly, why did we drop our wings as we evolved from birds? Those were surely an essential part of our body. Next, they survive in the filthiest of places among millions of microbes in what they eat and breathe. They certainly have a better immune capacity than us. Aren't they better, fitter, and stronger than us in this regard? If this were to survive, the world would have been full of gorillas, rhinos, and other wilds. But we see a variety in nature, both plants and animals. Each animal unique in itself. A peacock is famous for its neck, unbeatable in flexibility, while an owl has deep staring eyes. What to ponder is, of course, a complete absence of transitional species. Even though evolution is a slow process, we expect to see some transitional animals, say like a lizard with wings, or a flying dog, or maybe a mouse with horns and wings. But we don't see any of these. They are in fact quite delicate, certainly not the strongest ones on the planet. But one thing that decorates this beautiful body is the level of consciousness we have. We are more conscious, more mindful than the rest. Interestingly, an ancient Vedic scripture named Padma Puran, written much before Darwin, explains evolution in a very logical way. Through it, God created life and gave us different bodies according to our desires and levels of consciousness. Now, consciousness of a being evolves as it transmigrates from a lower body form to a higher one's. Quran describes this ladder from fish to amphibian, then reptiles to birds, mammals, and finally the human. Human body is a platform where a being can manifest maximum possible consciousness and has the capacity to transcend to a spiritual form. Lower forms of life have just enough intelligence to fulfill their bodily needs of eating, sleeping, mating, and defense. A human has the capacity to think further, analyze who he is, what is his position in the cosmos, and his relation with the cosmos and beyond. Maybe Darwin got a chance to read Padma Puran, evolution of consciousness, and wrongly interpreted it as an evolution of mere physical forms. So should we not think about the topic further?